known about ataxia my whole life. My family has SCA2. My grandmother had it, my mom has it, and now my brother has it. Some of my earliest memories are when I used to spend time with my grandma. And at that time, she was pretty isolated. She, I don't really remember when she was active, but she pretty much sat on her couch and was dependent on other people to help her. She had a walker, and one of the funny things is my brother used to lay it down and pretend it was his snowmobile. One time when I was washing dishes at my grandma's house, she made a comment about how she wished she could help do dishes. And I was probably about 11 years old, and I thought that was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. Who wants to do dishes, right? But now, as I got older, I realized how important that was to her. So when my mom would come and visit, I'd let her do my dishes and my laundry, clean my house. It was just really to make her feel good. What I have witnessed in my family is trouble with coordination, inability to walk, difficulty swallowing, choking, and a lot of frustration and isolation. When I was in high school, I remember a friend coming up to me and thought it was hilarious that they had seen my mom at an event and she was wasted. Well, my mom doesn't drink, so she wasn't wasted. It was her ataxia. Now my mom is past the looking wasted stage. She hasn't been able to walk for the past few years, but she's adapted really well. First, she was using a walker, which was very difficult. A lot of you can probably realize this. It was difficult to get her to do that because she was giving up her independence. But once she did, she realized that it made it so much safer for her. Then she got a scooter, and that was a life changer. She was able to do some of the things that she hasn't been able to do for a long time, like go shopping and go out in the yard. And now she kind of scoots on the floor. She almost does a crab walk, and it actually gives her a lot of independence. And again, she's able to help out by doing things like vacuuming. So it's great. So I remember back in elementary school, I was with some friends and we were walking along a curb, kind of balancing, and I was not good at it. I couldn't balance very well. So at that time, I thought I have my grandma's disease, and I just assumed that was my future. Well, when my mom was diagnosed with ataxia, we went to HCMC at the time, and Dr. Nance was there, and my mom was in the waiting room, and I was in the waiting room, and Dr. Nance came and talked to me about if I wanted to be tested to see if I had it. We went through some of the pros and cons of knowing, and at that time I was 27, and decided that since there was no cure, no real preventive measures, that it wouldn't really help me to be diagnosed, so I chose not to. So as a kid, I was the clumsy one, and my brother was the more athletic one of us. He used to play hockey, and he was always active. And then he went into the Army when he was 21. After a few years, he started to acknowledge that he was having some troubles with his coordination and the small motor skills. And he was notified that he was going to be deployed to Iraq. And looking at his symptoms and thinking about how when he's stressed and tired, that would be difficult for him, and he put himself and others in jeopardy, he decided to go and get tested for ataxia. And he was determined that he did have it, and he was, at 29, he retired from the Army. When this first walk came up, I had posted on Facebook that my brother and my mom had this disease, and my brother was a little angry at me for kind of letting it out and telling everyone about it. But since then, he's kind of changed his tune. He's been able to be really involved in learning about ataxia, and telling others about it. And he's been involved in the walk, fundraising. He's done some videos and newspaper articles. So he's really taken this and kind of given it some meaning for himself, which has been great. He does a lot of things. He stays very active. He tries to work out every day, tries to keep himself strong, and I'm very proud of him. And he wanted me to tell you that he's awesome. So when I was asked to talk about ataxia from a family member's point of view, I really struggled with it. Being a caregiver for my mom and watching my brother go through it, it's a very hard disease. It's hard what we deal with from day to day. It's hard to watch it. It's hard to do the caregiving, as I'm sure a lot of you know. So one thing I wanted to point out is communication is so important in this. One day we were at a family event and my brother surprised us all by telling us that he didn't feel we were supporting him with his ataxia. And we didn't really realize it. So one thing that I say is, just like in a marriage or any other relationship, make sure you're honest and tell people that how you need them to support you, because hopefully, I haven't asked him, but hopefully he feels more supported today than he did before. I also think that looking at all the things that are different today, you're able to go online and there's the support groups, there's the in-person support groups. There's walks like this that make such a difference to people, whether you have ataxia or you're a caregiver and just need a little support. I ask and challenge everyone here to bring someone new next year. Let's help raise awareness of ataxia, and so that they might look at that person that's stumbling and has slurred speech and not automatically assume that they're wasted, and maybe just think there might be something else going on, or just raise that awareness. And equally important, to help raise money. When my grandma had ataxia, she was isolated and basically sat on her couch. With my mom, she has her scooter and other handicap accessible equipment. With my brother, he's been doing some therapy to help him walk better, and also with some of his balance issues. And eventually, there'll be a cure. Thank you.